Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hyrule Chronicles. This is episode 78. I am Articulate T. I am the GM of this Legend of Zelda D&D, and with me today, as always, I have, playing Renji Vox, the Netherlad.
I'm excited.
Playing Hikan Sio, I have Avrdal.
Hello.
Playing Zaiden Chari, I have Robo Pirate.
Hey there.
And playing Max, I have Keistrith.
Hello.
So, what happened last time, gang?
Well, on the way from the Sealed Isle to Port Sarcossa, with our heroes going about their regular ship business, the Storm's Eye finds itself passing over a ship graveyard. Zaiden decides to check it out and finds dead bodies on one ship that is quickly identified as the one that brought the Black Orb from the Sealed Isle to Hyrule. Bringing along some goodies, a spell scroll and a very fancy potion of healing. Sorry, I should say that very fancy. The journey continues with Zaiden on board and is quickly concluded. As the ship returns to Port Sarcossa, our heroes return the Sly Guppy to the Zephyr's favor, but not before getting Bruno a new job with Flamgo, and not before paying their crew. The evening is spent with Rodo, the Goron, and his chief Darunia, who the heroes are going to be traveling with back to Hyrule Castle Town. Hikan shows off his ability to down Goron rots as if it was nothing, and the party mostly had a great time. But as they bed down for the night, however, Renji is visited once more by the Harvester.
Yes indeed he is. So we rejoin that scene in particular. Good one, this'll do. So, where we left off last time, you are currently sitting in your room or lying on your bed as you watch the little flecks of pixelated dark energy manifest and rise before disappearing again within the amber glow of the Twilight Realm. And as you were recently interrupted, the Harvester had made plain that now that you had completed your task on the islands and had returned safely to dry land, that he would like to discuss what needs to be done to possibly end your contract.
Renji is quiet for a moment, trying to avoid paying attention. But then he tries to look around for basically where the voice is coming from.
Make for me a perception check.
A perception check. That is that. A 26 for a natural 16.
Okay. It's hard, honestly, to tell. At least at first. Whenever he speaks, it seems as if it doesn't necessarily come from all directions at once, but it seems to be coming from different directions at different times. But the more you concentrate, the more you feel that it's like directly behind you, like just at the point where the top of your neck meets the base of your skull. And
okay.
In addition to his rasping, wheezy voice, you also hear what sounds to be the jingling of something metallic. As you kind of concentrate on that, he says,
I mean, you do want to get out of this contract, right?
course. I believe I've made that quite clear.
Good. Well, I will be sad to see you go. Your continued troubles, let's say, have offered some mild entertainment these past few months. But a deal is a deal. You had completed your task that I had assigned you to find something interesting and powerful. And the Helmasaur King, that sufficed.
What are you doing with it?
That information was not part of our agreement.
I'm just curious. If you don't want to tell me, then by all means don't.
I need to know basis. But come, let us discuss other matters.
As he says that, you can see just just within the periphery of your vision, a long, slender, gnarled arm just come around your right side. The fingers, while the nails are long, jagged, very not well maintained, the fingers themselves disturbingly as long and bony, just kind of manifests in front of you briefly, and after a moment of just relaxing in the air there, it turns around to face the palm towards your face and comes right at your face, obscuring your vision.
Okay.
After a brief few moments, the hand pulls away, and you find yourself in what appears to be a black void. So you can, as you look down, you can definitely see your arms and legs. And they are in color, so there is certainly lighting of a kind here.
Mm-hmm.
But as you focus on that, you can hear this kind of slow, dragging footsteps. And as you turn around, you see standing, even while hunched over, this robed figure still stands roughly 1 or 2 feet taller than you do. But the face is obscured. The only thing you can see are a pair of arms, which are this kind of, the coloration on them is somewhat two-toned.
Okay.
You can see that the little ring and middle fingers on the hand are all black with like these kind of turquoisey bands that go around each of the knuckles on the fingers, while the forefinger and thumb and that kind of part of the palm are all kind of this ashen grey. And this split pattern continues up the arm, right up to the elbow at the very least, before the arm itself disappears into this mound of tattered robes. The only additional things that adorn this creature are on the left hand, where attached to a series of rings around the wrist and fingers are what appear to be tiny little instruments that each in turn look jagged and cruel, but designed in such a way where you feel like they are intended for precise tasks. This creature you assume to be the harvester just kind of moves around you and nearby as it kind of wanders into the void, and says,
Tell me, what do you know of the way our people were before our fall?
Now, I would, as the player, pull from information I know about Twilight Princess. And I say, not much. The information about your people was generally kept away from people such as myself. But I do know that, or at least I've been told, that your people once belonged to mine. Were part of the Shika themselves.
Accurate. We were indeed once Shika. Much of our spellcasting and technology stem from research of Shika nature. And I would not, truthfully, be too offended that what I would have once called our kin had kept knowledge of us away from younger generations, and especially from the people of Hyrule at large.
I'm very, very tense at the moment, and I am like a hair's breadth from trying to summon any weapon against this thing.
Yeah. The hardest
But
Oh,
Go ahead.
As he kind of contemplates like your presence here, he just kind of like raises the left hand and examines the tools on the fingers and says,
That technology, however, just because it has been scrubbed from the history books, is still in existence. As such, the ways in which we can sever our bond, well, that still exists. In fact, it was designed by us.
and that's within Hyrule.
Yes.
he waves a hand, and within the void manifests what appears to be a iteration of the Hyrule map, though the art style is very blocky and kind of swirling, almost kind of, I'd say, reminiscent of Aztec stuff. Like
Would I've seen
Mesoamerican
something
sort of-
similar in the tome of Twilight Lore?
Yeah.
Okay.
As he does this, he kind of like reaches in a robe and takes out what looks to be a pair of scissors, though much like the smaller implements on his left hand is also jagged, cruel, but precise. And with it, he just roughly stabs a pair of scissors into an area within the south of Hyrule, somewhere that lives between the rising mountainous areas of the Gerudo Desert, or that separate the Gerudo Desert from the rest of Hyrule, and the immense forest of the Lost Woods to the southwest, and says,
Head there. You will find an old shrine, constructed and functional before our fall. There, at its peak, will be the very thing that will allow you to sever our interdimensional bond.
Will it harm you? Will it harm me?
it will serve its purpose.
And that's its purpose? To sever our bond? Or is the severing of our bond a side effect?
Inquisitive. But it will do as it is told, which is to sever the bond. But I must say, you'll have to be swift on your feet. After all, you are not the only agent in my employ, if you remember.
Wait, you've told this to her?
No. But...
Good.
You have to remember... Delilah was... attempting to circumvent the consequences of her action.
She's in cahoots with another, I know.
And that another does not take lightly to having to share ownership of her very soul with me.
I assume the feeling is mutual?
Oh no. My benefit from Delilah's contract was much in the same way that my benefit was yours is. You slew things, and in doing so, sent them to me. While she was alive, while she is still functioning and part of our little bargain, she's still providing me with the suitable meat that satisfies our agreement. But if you must know, doing this severs not just your contract, but all contracts that I have with everyone in the prime material plane. I don't think that suddenly having a buffer against the great fairies will go down well for her. If she finds out, which, considering the impressive information gathering capabilities of what once was the Twilight Cartel, I wouldn't put it past her to know already what it is that you are planning.
This information is almost breaking Renji's mind. He's thinking of breaking the pact, but also very concerned about why the Harvester would tell him that it would break all contracts with the Harvester. Given that, like, Renji only knows about one other person, but there might be more. He doesn't know. There's also this weight on his mind of like, well, we have to go to the place, but we can't go there yet because we have something else to do. So that is kind of brimming in his mind at the moment.
Okay.
Can I make an insight check on the Harvester?
Sure. Give it a shot.
Let's do that. Insight is only a +2. It's an 11 + 2 is 13.
His temperament doesn't seem to have changed much compared to other conversations you've had with him. It's it is odd, you think, that considering that when you encountered that old man in your dreams, he seemed very possessive of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, he seems like calm and accepting of this. It's entirely possible that with your acquisition of the Helmasaur King, his whatever needs he might have had been satisfied, but chances are, possibly because of the way that the agreement between the two of you had been worded, it can't simply be ended through that functionality.
Yeah, I was worried about that. It's like, yeah, I'm done with you. It just feeds into his complexes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with that, Renji is just quiet, contemplating, thinking about it, kind of keeping his eyes down into the void. Kind of trying to avoid the harvester for a bit as he's mulling this over.
The harvester kind of like stands and waits as he kind of looks you over, the breathing, just filling the silence. Eventually he does say, it's like,
Do you not want to ensure your father that this is not permanent? Do you not think that ending this would make him happy?
Won't say another word about him. I want to intimidate him.
sure, give it a shot.
It's not going to work. That's a 7.
I wish I could lend you my numbers.
It was.
I wish I could lend you my
it's-
passive 23 in intimidation.
Yeah, like I'm sounding like a petulant child. I realize, but
But that is at the forefront of your mind, is it not? So desperate for your own freedom from something you perceive as your destiny, but at the same time concerned about what your father thinks of you. You have already proven your worth as a warrior and defender of the realm. Would this not put his mind at ease? But
you know what's on my mind. Then you know the worries I have. Don't haunt me.
if that is the case, then I have given you as much information as I can provide. Perhaps when you get closer, I can give you even further details on what needs to be done to part ways. Until then, I shall allow you to attempt to get some rest. I feel that you have a long trip ahead of you.
As his voice departs into the void, you blink a few times, and then after a moment, next time you blink, you return to the normal darkness of your inn room. Just still with the the cold, chilling feeling of the conversation that you've just had?
I don't think I would get some. I don't think I would be able to get sleep, like, after that.
Okay. Did you want to
Does that
attempt
mean-
a wisdom save to see if you can get some level of rest?
Sure, let's go for that. That's an 11. 4
Okay.
plus 7.
Okay. I would say that it would be enough to stave off a level of exhaustion. It's not the best rest. You'll probably be crabby and irritable for the rest of the day, but at
But like the
very
rest of the
least-
week that I've had.
Yeah.
I get it.
But at the very least, you're not like you have enough energy for you to function for the day.
All right.
But yeah, and so you rest, as does everyone else within your little party. And the next morning, it is like the pleasant sunrise seeps in through some of your windows. Some of you might not have a south or east facing window, but you wake up and get yourselves ready and head back downstairs in order to have a breakfast as prepared by Thicket. And as you like, Mara's already downstairs. She's surprisingly the first one down there. And she's just kind of sitting at a table reading a book. Rodo and Darunia have not made an appearance as of yet, but then again, unlike the rest of you, they need full 8 hours worth of sleep, so they might be sleeping in.
I get downstairs, and I will have put on a disguise as myself, looking rested.
Okay. Fair enough. So what order do people make their appearance downstairs? Who's like who's besides Mara, who was the first person down?
Hikan took over watches from Renji when he went to bed, so Hikan's with the cart.
Okay. Max and Zidon?
Max will be down there surprisingly early.
Okay.
Zidon will be
I-
last down, yes.
Yeah, Renji would be not the earliest, but he would go downstairs like the moment when he thinks like this would be a normal time for me to quotation marks wake up. But before he goes downstairs, he will send another message through the sending stone. I hope you can hear this. We will go look for you. Stay alive until then.
Okay.
And not expecting a response, we'll go downstairs.
Okay. As you head downstairs and rejoin the others, Thicket sees you sit down and kind of wanders over and like slides a plate of toasted bread, some cheese, and like a couple of other things, and says, "Hey, here's your breakfast. Unfortunately, it's not as amazing as it was the last time. I was kind of working on short notice. But did you want anything like a hot drink or a cold drink? Anything like that?
Do you have any? Just a clear ale. I'll be fine.
Okay. Looks over to Max and Zayden and Mara and says, you guys want anything at all?
Perhaps some water.
Okay. Clear ale,
Same.
water. And Mara goes, oh, no, thanks. I'm okay, thank you. And they goes, okay. And this is... just heads off. Eventually he does come back with your drinks. He slides them on and say, there you go. The Goron's already paid, so don't worry about it. I guess if you're heading out, have a good
Rhoda did?
trip. Yeah, Rhoda did.
Best thank him then. But thank you, Thicket, for the breakfast.
Not a problem.
Range is just masking as if everything's fine.
Okay. Yeah. And Thicket heads off behind the bar and continues doing his duties. It's thankfully, as far as in common rooms go in the mornings, it is thankfully empty. It's literally just you guys at a table, Mara kind of like looks up from over her book and says, so let's see, so what in detail is our plan going forward if we're heading out from Sarcoza? I know we're heading back to Hyrule Castle Town with the Gorons, but what's our plan of action from here?
From here or from Hyrule Castle Town, you mean?
From Hyrule Castle Town, I'm sorry.
Right now is... I had something come up. But I think finding Nilus would be the more important task. And with this, he has a lot of trouble to keep a straight face and have it not show.
Okay. Mara kind of just nods a bit and says, okay, so our last known place for Nihilus, at least from what I remember, is heading towards the tower in the mountain ranges to the east. Right. We still have our mountain climbing gear from going to Snow Peak, right?
I believe so.
Okay. She kind of takes out a map and looks at it and says, we're gonna have to go over the river anyway, and the nearest bridge from what it looks like is going to be the one that heads over from Kakariko, unless we wanted to, for some reason, go all the way down through Masro and get the bridge at the mouth of the river into Lake Hylia. Otherwise,
It'd probably take too long.
it would.
And Max is saying this through gritted teeth. Because he knows where we're going.
Yeah.
Finally, vengeance is at hand.
Not quite that mood
Mm,
yet.
Not yet.
Put a pin in it.
Working on it.
Even that.
Yeah. Oh dear. Oh dear. But yeah. Mara says, okay, so best chances then is when we get to Hyrule Castle Town, we head our way to Kakariko, go past it, and then head towards this place. On the way, I'll see if I can find any faster, footpath route or anything.
Because it seems just to be like open land travel past Kakariko, unless we were taking the road up to Death Mountain, but I'll do what I can.
Might be an idea to have a quick stop at Kakariko and inquire if they have any maps there.
The
Yeah.
rest of the Gorons. They live up
Could
there.
ask them as well. Yes, that's even a better idea given the traveling companions we'll have. Yes,
I don't want to get shot again.
I understand that, and I would want to figure out something that we can make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
He's not bitter, I swear.
Not at all. Not bitter at all.
So as you kind of sit and eat briefly, the doors to the rooms upstairs open, and the heavy footfalls of a pair of Gorons make their way down. And you see Rhoda and Darunia, Darunia smiling as always, just kind of like looks over and is like, "Ah, yes, excellent. You're all awake already. So, are you ready for the trip?"
Believe so. We'll look over the rest.
Mara gives a nod.
Max does not move. And then after a
Okay.
moment, he'll grab up some of the toast and the cheese and go out to give it to Hikan for breakfast. Because he's still outside.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, meanwhile, outside, Hikan, it has been a relatively pleasant early morning. There's kind of this light chill, a light bit of mist that goes between the streets, though far less ominous than what it was the last time that happened in Sarcoza. Yeah, it's just nice to kind of like sit and watch a town wake up in a morning, especially something as normally busy as Sarcoza Port Town. Eventually, however, a little bit of time before Max arrives with toast and cheese, you see Leona walk up to the cart, and she kind of waves as she approaches and says, "Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you, and you?"
Doing alright.
Hmm.
You ready to head back to Castletown?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright. I'm just waiting on everybody in there to be ready to go. I know some of them are, well, most people are comparatively late risers, but would be probably getting out pretty shortly. I know some of us were in a pretty big rush, so.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling. Having to get up before the crack of dawn at Lan Lan Ranch, that was, whew. It's hard to get used to it, but after a while you do get used to it, I suppose.
Hikan just kind of pauses and is like, I've been up for 4 hours. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, I get up at the crack of dawn all the time, and Hikan's like, "Do not speak of me of the old magics, for I was there when they were written." It's just... Oh dear. But yeah. Yeah, Leona just kind of like nods a bit and says, "Yeah, okay." He kind of looks over the cart and says, "Okay, so this is just part of the whole kind of adventuring gig, right? It's just like are we protecting this thing, or are we just kind of walking along with it?"
A little bit of both, from what I can guess. Hikan's putting out a campfire as he kind of finishes doing the stuff that he made for his own breakfast. But that's totally legal. But that's beside the point. As said, stables. But yeah, no. If something happens, we might need to protect it. But generally, you just kind of walk along. Some people. My cat is upset. I apologize.
That's alright.
But yeah, no,
It's
you
the
just.
blink cat.
It's an angry blink cat.
Oh no.
But sometimes if something happens, you have to protect it. Otherwise, you just kind of make small talk if you want. Some people aren't very talkative. You can practice some drawing or whatever have you if you've got some free time and you're not taking a look out. But normally keep your eyes open and see what happens.
Alright, well, I'll follow your lead with that one then. She kind of like rolls her shoulder. You notice quite quickly that she has a spear on her back. Yeah, she just kind of like rocks back and forth on her feet and stuff and just like, okay, well, should be an interesting trip. I mean, I guess this is as far as like introduction things go. Couldn't really ask for anything better, right?
So we figured out who Roto's buddy was, and then I just kind of fill Leona in.
Okay. Yeah, as she kind of listens intently. After a brief moment, during your explanation is when Max would arrive with the toast and cheese.
More food, yay!
Just hand it
Thank you,
over,
man.
vaguely nod in Leona's direction.
He nods back.
Where are you going to?
Oh, cool.
Han makes it into a mock sandwich and just scarfs it down.
Yeah. Yeah. So after some brief interactions, eventually the Gorons pull everybody outside to the cart. Roto and Darunia go through the process of hitching up the horses with a little bit of help from Leona because she has experience with horses. And eventually, the general size of the Gorons themselves make it somewhat difficult for all of them to sit on the cart with the horses anyway, so only Roto does because he's the smaller of the two. But everyone kind of like they guide the cart out towards the gates. The guards stop them briefly in order to ask where they're going, what they're doing, all that kind of stuff, and they explain where they give the whole kind of spiel. And the guards then let them pass as all of you begin your journey outwards towards Hyrule Castle Town.
Yeah.
Yeah. With most of you on foot, sadly, it's not going to be as quick as one might expect. But at the very least, you have the cart
We
there.
have our horses.
Oh
Yeah,
you
we
do
left our
have
horses in Sarcossa.
Yeah.
Oh, you get your horses and you.
But just remember, wait a minute, we have horses.
You do.
Yeah, we
have
do.
horses.
Pom is still there.
Yeah. So you acquire your horses, but you still have to go at walking pace because Darunia has neither a horse nor the ability to be on the cart with Roto. So it's yeah.
I would offer my horse, but it's a horse.
You'd probably take
And
one
a
look at it and
Goron.
laugh.
Yeah.
I'd get a draft horse.
Yeah. Sadly, the ground is too flat for him to roll with expediency. So he'll have to make do.
Unfortunate.
However, it does mean at the very least that you make some decent headway. And it's only about here where something happens.
Something happens.
Happens, yes. So, Much like the rest of the morning, the sky is an unbroken blue, and with a pleasantly warm breeze, at the very least it makes the journey somewhat comfortable. And as you're moving along, you see that you do pass one or two people along the way, but most of the journey seems to be only you along the road. And peering down the road, you can certainly see as to why. Rodo forces the horses to stop briefly as he squints and says, "Looks like a tree has been knocked over in the middle of the road." And Tyrina's like,
Well, I suppose we should get that moved.
Wait a minute. And I look to the rest of the party. We've seen this before.
Mm-hmm. We have.
I'd like to take a perception check and look for an ambush.
okay.
16.
16.
I would like to do so as well, or help.
Okay. You may help if you wish, which would be a 25.
Yes.
With that 25, you do see some movement on the other side of the tree.
Okay, so like opposite us.
Yeah.
I think I will summon a Twilight battle axe.
Okay.
I will pass out a couple of my hand axes to people who can use them. And yeah. There's some people on the other side. I don't think it's a trap, though.
And Rhoda kind of nods a bit. Leona also having somewhat experience in this same nonsense, given what led to her firing from Lon Ranch. She says, "I think it'd be best if we're going to investigate it, we'd leave the horses just here, maybe."
Yeah, I wouldn't want them to get spooked.
Also, it'll be a great axe, by the way.
Okay.
Most axes are pretty great.
Hmm?
Most axes are pretty great.
They are pretty great. I agree.
Is it the woodcutter's axe for 3 damage?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think this one is a little bit better.
Fair.
Yeah. But yeah, so you make your Darunia kind of like glances over the group of you and kind of gets the general impression that you're preparing for something somewhat nefarious. And Darunia says,
All right, Rodo, you stay here. Mara, if you would like to keep Rodo company briefly, we'll take a look.
Amara just kind of gives a brief nod and says, "Okay, sure." And the lot of you approach. It does appear that a sizable oak tree has been felled over the road and kind of just obstructs the majority of it, meaning that if you were to try and get the cart through, you'd have to do, without moving the tree, you'd have to do some very complicated maneuvers along non-paved road. But as you get closer, you see somebody on the other side who's wearing what appears to be like a very basic sort of patchwork kind of padded armor sort of thing. And they have what appears to be a walking stick in one hand. But they aren't like terribly old. They seem middle-aged, round-eared Hylian, just kind of looking over the tree. And they say, "Oh, hello!"
Hi!
Kind of like moves forward a bit and says, "So, you're obstructed by this tree too,
Indeed.
Yeah.
I see.
And I'm also, like, I'm holding this unearthly axe at my side.
Yeah. Doesn't seem bothered by it, interestingly enough.
Alright.
Like, those of you with your ludicrously high passive insight, notice he's being very casual for what appears to be one heavily armed Sheikah, one not armed at all Sheikah, a Sheikah with staff and robes and stuff, a Hylian with a staff and robes, a woman with a spear, and then a Goron who you notice has a maul.
I have a.
Oh yeah, you have the glove, don't you? Yeah. It's just one of those.
But also, I have a passive intimidation of +13. So
yeah. You have there is an air about all of you that says band of adventurers.
Some might call it menacing.
Yeah. The person says, they kind of like glances briefly over at all of you and says, yes, I was traveling this way, and well, with the tree in the road, I don't suppose there's much progress on that. And he looks over all of you.
We can make quick work of this tree, do not worry.
I was gonna look at the end of the tree where it fell over and see if it had been cut or like snapped.
Give me a survival.
Survival. 15.
It looks like it has been purposefully cut.
Okay.
Betrayal. Deceit.
Well, it didn't fall on its own.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Like, even as he's kind of acknowledges, he's looking over each of you. Like, he's kind of like standing straighter, looking down, like trying to get as high of a look as he possibly can at each and every one of you. Give me some active insights.
Okay.
While doing that, I'm gonna move towards
no.
the end of the tree I looked at, as if I'm like getting a closer look of what got it down.
Okay. So
Mostly to split us up a bit more so that we don't get hit by an AoE.
Yeah. How close to the tree do you get?
Not like just like moving across, not towards.
Okay. Yeah.
I would be around 10 feet from the tree.
Okay.
Parallel.
Yep.
Let's see. Zayden and Hikan, you notice that the fellow's eyes seem to have found their focus on Leona.
Hikan, where would Leona be standing? Just kind of out of curiosity. Is she kind of like towards the back, more towards the middle?
More towards the back.
Okay. Hikan then just kind of nonchalantly just kind of steps in front of Leona.
There's a
Kind of embracing his old training. It's more of a half stumble type of step type of thing.
Yeah. As you do that, like his focus shifts from her to you and then back to you again, so Leona at this point also clocks on. It's like, can I help you? And it's like, that's some rather lovely red hair you got.
I don't think this is really the time for flirtation. Huh? Do you?
No, I don't. But it will have to do. And he kind of raises the staff slightly and slams it down onto the ground with the end of it. Amidst pulling themselves at this point from the ground appear to be skeletal hands that pull the rest of these smaller bodies up, with one larger body closer to this mage, who declares rather briefly in a rather nonchalant way, it's like, Take them. Make sure the girl's alive. And we shall roll for initiative.
I really want to get high initiative. Please. Please.
Nope. I rolled a
14.5.
3.
Oh my god. There we go.
Wow.
I'm gonna get comfy because I'm going last.
Fair enough.
No, why not?
9. Darunia gets a nice.
It's
Very
all very
cool.
nice.
Thank you, Darunia. Very cool.
I see everyone drawing their lines.
Plan out your actions.
Okay, I know what I'm going to do as long as people do not get in the way.
Fair enough.
Fine, I don't plan on moving much.
My action might get in the way.
Is it perhaps possible as these skeletons start to crawl from the ground that I switch my great axe to my rapier?
Sure, I'll allow that.
Thank you.
Okay, so Zayden, it's your turn.
Roar square. 6.
Uh-oh.
That's a big box.
That's your big box.
Indeed.
Zayden, pull out his staff. He'll point it to the sky as a beam of sunlight rains down on all of them.
Oh!
Until the spell ends, a 30-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder, and bright light glimmers there. The light is sunlight. When the cylinder appears, each creature in it must make a con save, taking 4d10. Okay.
So, we'll start with damage. Who gets a 10, taking 21 points of damage. We'll then take... Doesn't have any additional effects on undead, so we'll just do... Here, so it's 20. Wow. Alright, now for the fun bit where I just roll con saves, and if they fail, which they probably will, they just die.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear for the skeletons.
So, starting top left, going along the line, that's a failure. That's a pass.
Oh my.
It stays standing, even though it is badly burned.
Drank his milk.
Also don't know whether or not I've actually rolled initiative for the skellies. Though I don't think any of them can beat at 26, I'll do so in a bit. So that's another fail. That's a fail. If people are wondering whether or not this was intended to go as poorly for the bad guys as it usually does, what I usually like to do is have one kind of throwaway encounter so players can test all their new toys.
I might not get to test mine.
I could extend this fight a little further, it's fine.
That's fair. Also, in case you're wondering, GM, my new toy is Uncanny Dodge.
So I actually have to hit you with something.
Yes!
Okay, so before I do
My new
anything
toy.
else,
Or not hit.
let's actually put these on the initiative boards. That's 10. And
Alright.
then big boy. 14.
Wait, Max, what is Max's dexterity?
That's right.
+3. Okay, I'm at +2. So
I don't know why yours is 0.14.
because it adds my score instead of my modifier, the way I have it set up.
I was gonna say,
So it should.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to change it, so.
I've changed it, but I think Articulate needs to just pull me down in rank. There we go.
Okay. So, with that done, is now Darunia's turn. Darunia is going to spend a bonus action to rage. Kind of
Good.
seems to seethe with volcanic heat as he kind of grips them all tighter, turns around and smiles at this one style child as he runs over, and he's going to swing at it with his maul. Which, with it being vulnerable to bludgeoning damage, being a skeleton, is just gone.
Look, if you could. Sorry.
Then
Good to know.
that's as far as he can go there, and that will be his turn. Then it's the mage's go. Hikani will be up next. The mage is going to move out. Let's see.
Ah, shit, that's real hot.
Oh no!
Ow! What the mage is going to do, he's going to. How far is this? Okay. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, so there. Well, he's going to have some fun with this. He's going to flex his fingers, and with a cast of magics, the air around you becomes incredibly frigid and cold. So that there. As he casts a hailing ice storm on you.
Can I kind of spell? I'm in 60 feet.
You are within 60 feet. You can indeed counterspell.
Excellent.
I think kind of spell. Yay!
Wonderful.
It worked. I'm spending a sorcery point to make it subtle just in case.
Okay, that's fine.
Are you casting it at 3rd level?
Oh shit, it's 4th level, yeah.
Okay,
4th level.
that's fine.
Good roll.
You just need to roll.
Well, it's,
Yeah, I'm fine.
that's fine.
That is a good roll.
Yeah. So as a bonus action, they are going to cast. They're going to disappear, and then reappear as far away as possible. Although how far is Misty Step? Is it 60 feet?
That's 30.
Okay, so they were there. So there, I'll do it. Okay, Hikan.
The wise thing to do is to go, oh no, there's ads, and get rid of the ads.
That would be the wise thing to do.
The fun thing to do would just say, fuck it, go after this guy and beat him with my Quake Medallion.
Fun thing to do is yell Geek the Mage.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll also get rid of this box because he's been de-ice-stormed.
Okay, so 20 feet is there. Okay. Can't reach the Stalfos. But Hikan does his big runny. He can get there with his action. Or
Okay.
not with his action, with his regular speed. Is it there? I was here. Oh, I can get here. I think it was that I wanted to be. 20 feet. 20 feet. Fuck those two in particular.
Fuck. Alright, you need to also give me
Oh,
a charisma save to
no.
not be affected
Yep.
by it.
Nope, I
Oh
failed.
no!
You fail. Okay. So,
Perfect.
Right, so the Quake Medallion. A creature who holds a medallion can use an action to activate its magic, creating a 20-foot radius tremor centered on the user. All creatures touching the ground except for the user within that radius must make a DC 17 dexterity saving throw or take 12d10 bludgeoning damage and fall prone. Creatures who pass take half damage and are not knocked prone. The user must make a DC 17 Charisma save. On a failed save, the user takes radiant damage equal to the bludgeoning damage it caused with the tremor, regardless of whether the user is touching the ground themselves.
So, Hikan runs up the little wall that's there, does a front flip, slamming the medallion as it's glowing, and the glow burns into his arms with an ungrateful pain that he hasn't felt. And the two things that I can affect are the mage and this stealth child.
So the Style Child is gone anyway.
It just pops.
It just pops. Even if the let's see, even if the mage passes, there's not really much it can do. It's not a spell it can counter. So I'm gonna see how bad it failed. Yeah, that's full.
Oh no!
Where's the earth-shattering kaboom? There's the earth-shattering kaboom.
You just kind of like you all watch as, like, the last time Hikan used the Quake Medallion, it was somewhat hidden by the ghost fog that was around the island. Now you see him full glory as he hefts this golden medallion in the air, and as he uses it, there is a horrifying tremor in the ground beneath you. And you all kind of watch as this fracturing, spiraling pattern of radiant energy just emits from the medallion, runs through his hand and his arm all the way up to his shoulder, and this kind of searing, burning, angry wound that just looks like it digs its claws right into Hikan's soul. The mage in question, this guy in this kind of blackish padded armor with the staff, falls to the ground, like fully shaken through, before a tremor beneath, like a fissure, opens up beneath him. He falls in it and it slams shut. The same thing happens to the Style Child. They're just devoured by the earth.
No! None of that! Shame on you!
For those playing the home game, Hikan just did 70 points of damage.
Two creatures.
Two creatures.
Like, this is devastating.
Yeah.
On a group.
Also, he did it to himself.
Yeah.
I did it to 3 creatures.
Oh dear. Because, like, as a bit of a side thing, these medallions in the game that they were used for cleared screens.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And you get them late game.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
You took a little bit more than average damage here.
I knew the risks going into this.
But not by much.
Yeah. So, Stalfos is up. Max, it'll be your turn next. How far can these things run?
How far can they run?
I mean, it's a mindless undead, so it will, let's see. Okay, so it can move that far, so 25. That's right. So you're the It's gonna go for the one who's clearly armed, which would be Renji.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. What can I do?
What's up?
What can I do? That was rhetorical.
Perhaps take a shield to the face. As he kind of runs up with the shield charge.
No.
You
It
nimbly
doesn't.
dodge out the way. You've dealt with this thing before. It's fine.
It's fine.
It is fine. Let's see. Okay, so how many? Can I only attack with this longsword more than once? I can only attack with this longsword more than once. So that's it. That's its shield done.
Okay.
So that's its turn. Max, you're up. Renji, you're on deck.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, it also takes the dawn damage
Oh yeah.
if it fails to save.
All right.
More dawn.
I like that you've drawn a big black box for the sunshine spell.
Yeah.
Well, weirdly,
Hey,
when I
pass.
chose to make it, it was a different colour.
Okay.
It's actually a Constitution saving throw, but I take it
Oh.
that that's
I think its Constitution
take
may be
2
better.
from that, which would bring it down to 17, which would be the same. Actually,
Meets
no,
it.
take 3 from that, which would be a failure, so it's all damage.
Okay.
I rules lawyered.
It's still up though.
Oh,
Well, seeing the absolute mess that Hikan has made of himself with that attack has made Max briefly lose control of his ridiculous lightning stuff. So he is going to throw that at the Sarcossa.
Not at me, please.
5th level Witch Bolt.
5th level Witch Bolt. 17 for 46 lightning damage.
It has an AC of 18.
Oh, okay.
Oh, poop.
Well, I can still do that, so I'm going to move up and quicken Shocking Grasp. And it's wearing Mal, right?
Yeah.
So that's advantage, so 14 lightning damage.
So, like, I imagine that you kind of, like, briefly losing control and focus, you turn around and throw this lightning at the Stalfos. It instead arcs over the top of it and slams into the tree behind it, just utterly incinerating it. With absolute fury, you stomp forward and throw forward. You basically put a hand on its shield, and then it lights up like a neon light before eventually just crumbling into dust. Okay. Renji, it's your go.
Okay, so a lot of stuff is happening. I see this light in front of me. I feel the earthquake that Hikan, like I see Hikan like almost dead. This skeleton coming up, and I'm ready to strike at it, but Max deals with that. So instead, I'm going to turn to the ones over here and here, and I'm going to use Eldritch Blast. 1 on each.
Okay.
So 1 is a 16.
That's a hit.
And 1 is another 16.
So they both hit.
They both hit 13 damage on 1 and 9 damage on 1 and 1 damage on the other.
Okay. Fine. So that first one's still up then.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's okay. At the very least, they get a turn.
And let's see what else I can do with bonus actions.
Shouldn't you have a third late? Or is that level 11 you get your third one?
That's level 11, yeah. I would like, let's see, can I make it? Yes, I can. I would like to use a bonus action to attack this one.
Okay.
But this will be with a dagger.
Okay.
Wait, no. Yeah, that would be with a dagger. That's an 18. And that is with sneak attack damage. That would be 12 points of damage.
Okay, so are you attacking the one you hit for 1 or the one you hit for 9?
Oh, in that case, I would say the one I hit for 9, this one.
Alright, that finishes it off.
Right.
Okay. Grand. On the Style Child's go, there's another brief bit of rumbling and earth upturning as more of these things turn up. See, I said I could extend the fight a bit longer.
You know, there is no limit on how many times I can use the Quake Medallion per day.
Yes,
so.
there is. Max is full on, like, maximum glaring at that medallion. He does not like it.
Oh dear. Oh man. But yeah, so they all pop out of the ground. We're gonna have a couple of these go over and fight Tyrina real quick and probably fail. So that'd be one set of claws, miss. Another set of claws, miss. Tyrina's fine. This one's gonna come over here and claw at Renji. And miss. This one's going to go over here. Unaware of the destructive might of the monk. It's going to swing its claws, but the 16 definitely does not hit you. This one's going to totter on over here underneath this tree. It's going to throw a bone, like it'll pull a rib from its rib cage and throw it at Zidon. Yeah! Does a 19 hit your AC? Zidon?
Oh, at me.
Yeah.
19 is my AC, so no.
Okay. So you get.
Wait, meat and beats, right?
Yeah, so it does hit you.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the bone hits you square in the shoulder, poof, with more force than you would give it credit for, and you take 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oof.
And then these ones are going to run over here.
Mm.
Done. All right, it's Leona's go. Zidon, you'll be up next. Leona is going to go over and back up Darunia. Is going to attack it with her staff. Both hands. Oh, okay, fine. Be that way. Yeah, macros. But that works. That's fine. Dealing 9 points of piercing damage as he runs over and stabs at it with her spear. But the Style Child is still remaining. Zidon!
use a bonus action. I'll move this holy beam of light. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So they need to make Constitution saves, don't they?
I'm not sure how it works. Pop it again. I think it's only at the end of their turn.
Okay. I imagine it's kind of operating like a Hammer of Dawn sort of laser doodad that is constantly firing until the concentration ends. So it's
Yeah.
So it's fine. They may not be smart enough to maneuver away out of the beam of doom, but that's fine. Okay, so that's your bonus action.
Which one of these threw a bone at me?
This one up here.
Okay. Well, that one. and
You've
that
got a
one
bone to pick.
Can both enjoy a tidal wave.
That might be too high a level. Oh wait, you moved that one as a bonus action. Yeah. I'm a fool.
Okay.
Would that also mean? Oh wait, yeah, I was gonna say. Would that also mean that Renji? But no. I
Nope.
keep imagining tidal wave like starting from the caster and moving outwards, but it doesn't do that.
Makes some sense. But at the moment, it's basically just dropping down from the heavens.
Yeah. Let's see.
So someone just upended a bucket.
So it's bludgeoning damage. So even if they pass a save, they take double from it anyway. So in all honesty, that actually literally just takes them out of the fight.
It's basically couple of rolls.
So that would pass it, which would bring it down to half, but then it would double it again. So if they fail it, it just becomes 34 damage, like that one. Vulnerabilities! Yeah.
Huzzah!
That's a-
Alright. Darunia is up next. Hikan, you're on deck. Darunia is going to take his maul and he's going to smacketh some skelly bros. So that's going to be one. The one in front of him, which is enough. That takes that guy down. Boom. And then to the one directly to the right of him. Also takes him down. And that will be his turn. He's not going to move into the beam of doom. Hikan.
Okay. So for Hikan's turn, like, wow, okay. Now I know why Gorespire had all those potions. He's gonna for his free interact with an object thing, he's going to pull a cup and a potion out of his bag. He's going to pour the potion into the cup, stir it with his finger, using his action for a hand of healing, and drink the potion.
Okay.
So for my hand of healing, that is 6 hit points from that, and then 2d4 plus 4 for the healing potion. 2d4 plus 4. So I gain a total of 15 hit points.
Nice.
As I'm just kind of like, hold on with my other hand to the stall child. I'll deal with you in a second. Hold on.
Yeah.
But that's my entire turn.
Okay. All right. Max, you're up. Renji, you're on deck.
Max is still very upset.
Sorry.
I would like him to roll a deck save, please. That one.
The one fighting Hikan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm casting a level 5 lightning bolt on one Stalhorse.
Yeah, does
On
that-
this 13 hit
It's
point style
child.
child.
Yeah.
So, what-
Want to make sure he's dead.
yeah, he's very dead. He's super dead. Maximum over dead, as it were.
And then he goes back to glaring at that amulet. Medallion.
Okay.
Maximum dead edge.
That is his turn.
Okay. Renji.
I will go and move over there.
Mhm.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Yep. And I'll put a Hexblade's Curse on this one,
Okay.
and then I will shoot a bolt of Eldritch Blast on that one. That's a 10, so that doesn't hit. Next one goes there as well. That's
hits.
a 13. That does hit. Okay. So, that is 13 points of damage
He's
to
dead.
that one. Okay, good.
Thank you. Oh,
And
congratulations.
with that, I get 10 hit points back if I lost any.
Hey, next time I'll put you in the AoE so you can use your cool flutes.
Yeah! What are friends for?
Please don't
You
hit
have
me with
70
that.
hit points?
I would die.
No.
I have 79 hit points.
It's going to be a while before the entire party is physically capable of withstanding the full potential damage of that medallion.
Hopefully I can
Yeah.
find one of these divine canes so I don't have to worry about it.
Well, I use it whilst in an animal form. It says a creature, not a human.
Yeah.
That's a perfect way to deal with it.
Oh, yeah, that gives you like an extra buffer of HP. You have to remember that wild shape or polymorph, any excess damage after being de-animalified then carries over to what is left of your main form.
So make sure to turn into the biggest HP pool you can find.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Anyway, I'm done with my turn.
okay, so the Style Childs are up. This one's going to run over here to try and claw at Leona. And this. And this one's
Good.
going to run over here. I'm going to say it gets over there. And then its turn ends. They attempt Constitution. The one in it attempts a Constitution saving throw. Fails and likely explodes. Because I don't know whether or not you can roll any lower than a 13 on like full potential damage. Yeah. So that's their turn. It's Leona's turn. Zayden will be up next. Leona's going to run over here and is going to spear. Just dives forward. Spear goes through. The thing stays up, taking only 5 points of damage. But that'll be its turn. Or her turn. Zayden.
There's just that one left.
It is just that one left.
Simon's gonna move to behind it. I'll whack it with a shillelagh's quarterstaff.
Bonk.
Clonk.
That's a good bonk there.
So, with its vulnerability to bludgeoning, that's 22 total damage on something that only had 8 hit points left. It's just... You just head on over and it collapses to the ground in a pile of bones, leaving you with this bone-strewn battlefield as everything seems to quieten down and we exit from initiative. Where'd my jukebox go?
Hey.
There it is.
I will try and head over to Recon, kind of like climbing up the ridge. You okay there, buddy?
I've had worse. Yeah, I've had worse.
I will hold out a potion of healing.
I'm
Like-
fine.
You sure?
Yeah. I'll be alright for the moment.
Alright.
It didn't happen like that last time.
Yeah, I would have remembered.
So, learn some things. Not gonna do that unless absolutely necessary.
Good.
Right, good thinking. You good right here?
Yeah, I could help with that.
Good.
Just need a moment to catch my breath, and then I can go forward, help move the tree so we can keep going.
Alright, I'll check in with the others. And I will head over to Darunia and Leona. Sidon here. And I'll ask if everyone's okay.
Darunia kind of just gives a thumbs up and a big smile and says, I had a bunch of fun. That was great. Leona just kind of looks at you guys says, this happen to you often on the whole adventuring front? Is this a thing to expect?
Yeah, it's not something you can really discount here. Are you okay, Leona? I mean, that
Fine.
guy seemed to recognize you somehow?
Well,
Hikan shouts from the thing, no! He works with the undead peoples. They was looking for ladies with red hair.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, and then Hikan gets, stops sitting down and then comes back down. He will come over next to Max. Walk with Max. Yeah, that's why I asked you to stay on the ship, because people who are into any kind of gestures at the dust bones, the bone meal. Yeah, people who were related to the island that we went to, looking for ladies with red hair.
Why would they be looking for women with red hair?
Because they're looking for a specific one.
Oh.
They just don't know who.
Yeah. And it's a bad one.
Shakes her head slightly and says, well, I mean, kind of like tugs on her hair a bit and says, I mean, it is awesome, but, like, Right. Okay. I will try to be careful in the future. I'll, like, wait a bit before I do the adventuring thing. Maybe I'll buy a hat. I don't know.
Max just there in his hood, like, yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Okay, so there's people who can summon undead who like red-haired ladies, right? Okay. That's an interesting note to start
That's
adventuring
kind
on.
of the gist of it, yes.
Right. But other than that, I guess, I'm okay. I wasn't hurt at all.
Good. I think we'd best get to work on this tree here.
Yeah.
And I re-summon the axe that I had out previously.
Renji, hold on a moment.
Alright.
It's one solid item, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm gonna reduce it.
I suppose it does go down to half of its size. Therefore making it significantly easier in order to move.
Roll it away.
Yeah.
Is it roughly the size of Darunia's wall now?
It's a little bit bigger than that, but it's at a size now where
So you're saying he could still pick it up one-handed and move it out of the way?
he could still just heft it out of the way by himself if needs be. But yeah, they just kind of like, yeah, it's weighted 1/8 of normal, so it's 1/8 the weight of an oak tree of that size. So just kind of like, still some level of effort, because I imagine 1/8 of an oak tree is still heavy, but it's like much easier for him to just kind of pick it up at one end and turn it away out of the road, before he makes his like kind of dust his hands off and says, well, all in all, that was a successful venture. Let's get back to the others. They're probably worried.
Yeah. Oh, I'm also sure about Mara. She knows us.
Well, that's good. But yeah, you return to your companions. Rodo kind of looks over the lot of you, only notes that Hikan looks in not terribly
My
good shape.
arm's wrecked.
Yeah, your arm is like destroyed, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Max will continue to be unhappy about that.
Hey Max, you remember that rapping thing I helped you with back in Sarcossa? Kind of down an arm. Can you give me a hand?
Fine.
Thank you.
And I figured out why Max is so disappointed / angry with Hikan.
Sure, roll an insight check.
Let's see if I can unravel some liver. No.
Yeah.
You haven't been doing
That was a
terribly
ball.
well on those today, I'm afraid.
And I'm out of sight.
But it is
Yeah.
very obvious that he's glaring at the medallion more than Hikan.
Fair.
Important question, is Max more upset than normal?
Little bit.
Okay. I would also like to roll since Max is helping me bandage myself
Okay.
up. I did better. I got a 12.
So yeah, I definitely get the impression that what you did upset him.
Fair.
I won't do it again. I promise. Have we established that Max can or cannot read common?
You can read it, you just can't write it.
Okay. So then, Hikan, after everything's said and done, we're all loaded up. Hikan will pull Horse over to Max and very dexterously pull out the Book of Mudora and flip to the pages where it's like, it's totally safe if you have a divine item. It's like, we just gotta find one of these, and then it won't hurt.
So you're not going to use it till then.
End scene.
The silence says a lot.
I was gonna say that silence is real reassuring.
It's very loud.
Yeah.
I won't use it again unless absolutely necessary until I get one of these.
He doesn't seem reassured by that.
That is fine.
That makes sense. Yeah, no.
Hikon's not gonna lie, though. Not to his friends.
Okay.
Look, if it's someone can come over and put a potion in my mouth or all of us die, I'm gonna take the potion in my mouth.
Oh, dear.
He's not going to be happy about it, is all.
That is fair and valid.
I imagine if this happens, that Hikan is just like unstoppering a bottle, putting it between his lips, and then activating the medallion.
So when he falls over, the potion just activates immediately.
Yes, exactly.
If only that would work.
Do the barbarian
only.
thing where you just smash a potion on your head.
Oh, dear. But yeah. So, like Mara, like when you return, Mara does help with the rebandaging and stuff. Like, despite Renji's claims of like, nah, I don't know if Mara will be worried about us. She knows us. It's like, well, yeah, when Hikan comes back with one mangled arm, that's
Okay, yeah, I may have spoken too soon.
Oh dear.
It was 70 damage isolated in my arm to my shoulder.
Yeah,
Oh dear. Oh,
I'm thinking that like Mara is not worried about what others might do to us,
Mm,
and I'll leave it at that.
okay. The only ones who can destroy destroy the Storm's Eye is the Storm's Eye themselves at this point.
Yes, we are our own worst enemy.
Yes, you are. But yes, you return post haste to your horses, and the caravan continues on now that the road has been cleared. Mercifully, there isn't much else that happens right up to when you get to Riggensted. It does take like the rest of the day, and the sun seems to be like just to set by the time you get to Riggensted. You could rather safely continue to Hyrule Castle Town, but it will be nighttime by the time you get there.
Hikan looks to Renji and Max because it's Max's vengeance. I mean, past that we're facing, and Renji's dad that might be in need of help.
Like I would say we continue. I have like we have ways of getting into Hyrule Castle Town. Even with the gates closed, we have a missive from the ruling class, and yeah, we are in a hurry.
All right. I would say that we stop for like watering the horses and let Daruni rest his rocky legs for a little bit. Fun.
Yeah. Okay.
We keep going.
All right. So it is that you continue carrying on. But yeah, much like the journey to Rigenstead, thankfully it is nice and calm on the short length of road between Rigenstead and the northern gate of Hyrule Castle Town. You can see the lights on in the little farmsteads that surround the gates as you make your way in. The general kind of air being that, sunset, everyone kind of makes their way back in home and just either relaxes or tries to get some sleep so they can be awake for the sunrise the following day. But yeah, you make your way through the gate just before it closes for the evening. And you find yourselves inside of Hyrule Castle Town in the Noble District. And as you kind of pass through the gates, Darunia looks to all of you and says, "Okay, we are at Hyrule Castle Town. I imagine you don't want to be carrying these things all the way back to where you're needing to go. Where you want us to drop them off?"
Renji, who's the guy in charge of magic stuff?
Renji should know.
Well, the Lord of Magics, as you probably are aware, has been missing for a month or two, or a couple months.
Yes.
So it's you don't really have one.
Right. I'm actually considering, like, can we get this to Uriel's shop?
I think for safety's sake, we should put them in the castle.
Probably
That's actually a better thing for now. Yeah,
that. And
that we can.
They can find someone to look into them.
the court Sheikah probably have the
Yes.
other stuff that Simeon was looking into as well.
Yeah.
And then we can go on with the second part of the plan, which is leave.
Yeah.
We can
That
also
is actually
deliver our report at the same time.
yes. That's those are all good points. And Renji feels a little bit sheepish for not having thought
Of
of
course, Max says all this is just should just put them in the castle.
that. Yes, that's a better idea.
Okay.
Yes, what he said.
Yeah. Darunia kind of gives a bit of a nod, and like after waiting, oh well, he'll wander with you through the streets all the way up to the gates of the castle grounds, and kind of looks over and says, like as you kind of approach the gates, the guards kind of like come together slightly and request to stop. Says, "Okay, are you making your way in the castle? If so, state your business, please."
Yes, we are. I am Renji Vox. I am here with cargo that it needs to be stored. We have indications that this is of a potentially dangerous nature and so must be secured and guarded. And I show him the paper, I show him my signet ring.
He kind of looks over both of them and says, "Okay, if they need to be stored in the castle, then if you wait here for but a moment, we'll send a runner to bring down some extra help. We'll take them from here."
Good.
Should Hikan ask, like, whispers into Reggie's ear, should they get Impa or one of the others to take a look at them?
Yes. Have send word to Impa that these things are taken, are looked at. Don't mean to have this specifically as an order, but maybe give Lady Impa the suggestion that a Uriel might be called in to consult on this matter.
All right. Okay. We'll certainly do that. They make their way. Before they go backstage. Did you want to have a chat with Lady Impa, or were you just hoping they take a look at the things when they get brought in? Like, is this for like a?
I glance over at the others to see.
I need to tell them stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll escort you. I turn to the others. Do you want to find a place to rest for the night? Do you want to stay here?
You have a house.
We have a house. It's got lots of room. Not so many beds, but lots of room.
Renji and I are out of it.
That's fine. That's okay. That's fine. I fully understand that. But yeah. So, did you guys want to join in with the conversation with Impa, or did you want to leave Renji to it in order to go and get some rest, or?
Max is gonna head back to the house because he doesn't give a shit about all this boring stuff. He's sure that Randy's got this.
Yeah.
Mm.
I would like to stay with Renji, but I look at Max for permission because I already messed up today.
This brief moment, Max was like, "Why are you looking at me?"
Glances at the arm, glances back up. Okay.
It's frogs.
I would like to stay with Renji then.
Okay. Zayden?
So I don't know. Head to the house.
Okay. All right.
We've split the party.
You split the party. However, will you face diplomacy besides yourselves? It's fine.
Oh no.
I mean, the least diplomatic person is left the diplomatic part, so
Yeah.
You have a very good intimidation.
that's not diplomacy.
It is very much so diplomacy.
It's interrogation.
It's not the kind of diplomacy that we want today
Maybe.
at all.
But yeah, so you make your way through the streets of nighttime Hyrule Castle Town, while you leave Renji and Hikan at the gates while extra help has come to pick up the orbs. It is nice and peacefully quiet. Like it feels familiar, I suppose. But you make your way through these familiar streets and eventually find yourself at the house in question. Mara has elected to stay with Hikan and Renji as well because you know, castle librarian. But it's you eventually find yourself at the house. You notice that a light is on in one of the lower in one of the ground floor rooms. You assume perhaps that Maxwell is just still inside and awake. But yeah, you have a key, so you're able to enter the building under your own volition.
Yeah, Max just barges in.
Yeah.
Just open door, get straight in.
My fucking house, damn it.
Yeah. Maxwell kind of looks like he's sitting in a kitchen at the moment, and he looks up. Like, the furniture that you have ordered has since been acquired and placed in the building. Given that it's been roughly 2, almost 3 weeks since the order was placed. So the it seems that the Twin Saw initiative works quick to outfit an entire house. But yeah, Maxwell kind of like the sudden opening of the door at a time he is unfamiliar with in these past couple of weeks just gets him up with a start, and he looks over and his hands are aflame, but then he sees you two and is like, "Oh, hi."
Maxwell remembers that Maxwell would be here at this time, and he's like, "Ah, shit, sorry."
It's fine. Welcome back. It's good to see you. How was the trip?
We're trying to teach you small talk too.
A little. It's uncomfortable.
I know, right?
Mm,
I'm just gonna sit down.
Maxwell kind of sits down as well, and he just kind of like flexes his fingers a bit and says, I think the lessons are kind of working, but I don't really know off the top of my head.
Good. What kind of lessons?
Just control and repetition, and like just doing the same bit of magic over and over and over again to get used to it, to understand like how it works and stuff, and like guess it helps that Uriel's really patient with me, and it still gets really frustrating sometimes though.
Yeah, I know. I've mostly just been trying to figure out what it is in general. It's going spectacularly poorly.
Oh. Okay. Sorry to hear that. I mean, when we first met, I feel like you were probably more in control than I was, so...
Wasn't very deceiving. Thinking back to losing it literally today.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of nods a bit. What's Zayden doing at this time?
Looking on the garden, the house, how things are since we left.
Like there's evidence that things have been tended to, but only in the barest minimal capacity. Like there's areas and places where it's pretty dusty, but it's obvious from like a casual look that like a thing has been placed there and then has not moved for ever since it got there. So it's like it's quite clear that Maxwell, in his capacity of living here, has only really visited the same rooms and in the same fashion day in, day out. He hasn't really done much exploring. And the garden, like, is like the plants and stuff that are in the area are still alive, but they aren't. Like it's the garden as a whole is not very well maintained. There's weeds. There's just a bunch of stuff of just like a garden that is in the early stages of just overgrowing. But yeah, it's just kind of like only very barely lived in.
I just will start gardening.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, as you guys share that moment
But-
briefly.
I also want to bring something else up.
Sure.
In the very pointedly not looking at Maxwell, just say our next destination is going to take us to the tower.
He's silent for a bit when you mention that. He says, "Oh, right. Are you gonna be okay?"
I have no idea.
He nods a bit.
I was gonna just try and forget. I was gonna... If I never came across him again, I wouldn't... Nothing bad would happen, but... Now I have to go there, and all I can think about is killing him.
Maxwell just kind of like, again, he's silent for a bit and says, of the few people I met, if they knew what he would do, if they knew what he had done, I don't think there's anybody who would stop you.
Well, unfortunately, Renji's dad is missing, and if he knows where he is and I kill him before we learn that, it might cause problems.
Yeah. He kind of shakes his head a bit and says, if I was in your position, I would probably have the same problem. But, I'm sure there's ways. There have been a number of things that I have encountered that it feels like it's not necessarily the end of everything. Like there's Uriel always tells me that magic has ways of getting around certain things. But you'll find a way. I'm sure.
Since Max doesn't know how to abruptly change the subject, he's just gonna sit that quiet for a bit.
Okay. Maxwell similarly and will permit the silence too, because he's kind of also caught in this kind of like, yeah, fucking kill him, like do it.
Yeah. Here, I'll give you a gun.
Yeah. Oh dear. But yeah, he doesn't really like he doesn't know how to be reassuring. So when the silence comes, he just allows it to happen. But yeah. Meanwhile, back with Hikan, Renji, and Mara. After a little while, a collection of guards make their way down to help transport the orbs. As they're removed from the cart, Darunia kind of like checks everything over. He gives a nod and says, "Okay, well, me and Roto need to make our way back to Death Mountain. So thank you for the company and for the little bit of fun on the way. But
Thank you for offering your cart, Chief Darunia." And I formally bow.
Like he does kind of like not really taking in the seriousness of the situation. He kind of chuckles and just kind of throws a hand, slams you on the back with the open palm. Is like, it's all right, but thank you again. Now we need to get back. If you do step by Death Mountain, by all means, come and have a chat. It would be great to see you again.
Actually, since you guys are going back, we might be heading that way in a little bit. Do you got any maps or something that go south from there? Because I remember one of my friends mentioning something.
Roto kind of like thinks a moment and says, I'm not sure. We might have something that goes underground, but not necessarily above ground, as it were. There's lots of tunnels that go through the Death Mountain range, but not all of them are going to be, not many open paths on top. Too many Tektites and Dodongos, as it were. But we can at least try. If you do stop by Goron Village, by all means, we've got plenty of cartographers. It's a nightmare to navigate the mountain otherwise.
All right. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind. And then Hikan just waves them off.
Okay. They wave and make their way. Meanwhile, leaving you guys to tend to escorting the orbs into the castle. They're rather carefully taken through the halls of the castle and into a vault that is in one of the lower levels of the castle. They're placed like somewhere near the back and then tightly sealed away.
Do we find Princess Zelda there?
No.
Yeah, darn it, the wrong game.
She doesn't exist yet, or did exist a while ago. It's unclear.
Signs point to maybe?
Signs point to both.
Signs point to timey-wimey stuff. But yeah.
A big bowl of it.
Yeah. But after they are placed into the vault, the guards escort you towards the room of Prince Rufus, where standing outside the door, vigilant as ever, is Impa, who kind of like has her arms folded. She looks over to you as you approach and smiles and says, "Oh, okay. Hi. Welcome back. It's been a while."
Yeah, it has.
Indeed. Good evening.
Good evening. She kind of like pauses a moment as she looks between the two of you and says, "I can tell there's something on your mind. What's up?"
We have lost contact with Nilus.
You frown.
Hikan says in Sheikah, should we switch to Sheikah?
Impa kind of pauses a moment and then gives a nod and says, "It seems like a good idea."
I nod. And switching over, I say, as we were traveling, on our way to our destination, we lost contacts. Nilus did not respond to any messages from the sending stone. And we have attempted to scry on him several times with no effect. Two options: either he is dead or he is in some way shielded from these magic effects.
Okay. Well, from what I
There's this
understand,
underlying emotion in his voice that he's trying to keep away, keep from boiling over.
Impa kind of gives something of a solemn nod and kind of shifts into all business mode. And she says, okay, well, we have several options at this point in time. Tell me, have either of you noticed any gossip stones?
We haven't really paid much attention to them.
I can already tell that you guys are going to be going somewhere in that direction to see if you can find Nilus. I wouldn't stop you, after all. It is, it is understandable that you want to go and find your father. But, on the way, if I might recommend keeping an eye out for some gossip stones, they might be able to tell you, perhaps, what's going on. Or at least whether or not they've seen Nilus. Secondly, I wouldn't imagine that Nilus would be dead all too quickly. Nilus might be more of the stealthy type, but he is a survivor of sorts. Lastly, I would recommend the following. If you are heading in that direction, if you haven't already decided to stop off in Kakariko, I would make some recommendation too. I know Nilus mentioned that on his way to that direction he was going to stop off and speak with Zelish briefly to see if he was in any better mind, or if he was likely to offer a different insight into his own attempts to finding Sophidia. Maybe Zelish will have some idea as to where Nilus has gone. From what I understand, he still hasn't left his house since the king died.
I will put that to the group, and I will, if we go there, I will ask Zidon to speak with him.
He kind of nods a bit and says, very well. As you know, I can't exactly go anywhere. And neither can Lady Alea, especially now that Marius is king. We're stuck here, so we can't really offer much else. But for the most part, my recommendation would be Zelish, gossip stones. And I would be remiss to think that Nilus is dead. So keep that in mind. It could be possible. It's also, I would say, if there is any possibility that he is being has gone, I suppose, silent and untraceable, he probably it is more likely he might have been captured. From what I understand, scrying magic can still in some ways find a dead body, but if it's failing to find anything at all, then it might be possible that he is being captured in some capacity and they're shielding that sort of thing. The question is, what would have been able to stop him from being captured?
That by itself is
being scryed. Sorry.
That by itself is already a worrisome thought.
Do you know if he was going to be contending with any powerful spellcasters?
Yes, I do know that, yes.
Well,
That would have been the case.
Yes. well then that would probably be his likely location. But that's all I can really offer.
There's another thing
Hmm.
that I've received. I found some knowledge about a historical Giga site somewhere to the south of here, between the mountains and the Lost Woods. I will be staying the night here. Is it possible that, I don't know, there's a search through the library for any information about that?
Maybe.
I understand if...
But I would recommend getting the rest first.
Yeah, it was more of a request that others try and find that whilst we get some rest. Hikan needs some recuperation time, certainly. There was an incident on the way here.
I see. Well, if by all means you get some rest. Mara, and Mara says, "Yes, Lady Impa." Impa says, "How are you feeling? Would you like to? You are one of our best researchers. Would you like to take a crack at this while they rest?" And Mara just kind of like thinks about it and says, "Sure. I can take a nap in the library while I do it, so that's fine." Impa then goes, "Okay then. All right. Well, I'm sure that the scholars would be more than happy to have you back on board, at least for a moment. For now, though, if you do need rest, take it, all of you," she says rather pointedly to both Hikan and Renji. Says, "I will still be here if you ever need a little bit more assistance. You kind of really have to go where the prince goes. But yeah, it will be all right. We'll find him." Just have a bit of
Thank you for your faith, Lady Impa.
You gotta give something of a smile. There's now, unless there's any pressing matters for you to attend to me with, I suggest you go find a bed.
I believe I know where to find one.
Good.
And I bow and turn to Hikan.
Bit
Do you,
of a point of order thing. Did the location that Renji mentioned, because it would have been the first time that Hikan heard about it, ring any bells?
Not off the top of your head.
It is perfectly fine. Okay. The second, when Impa mentioned going into Kakariko, Hikan kind of stood at more attention and his jaw was more clenched. And he's struggling to find words, as he's wont to do. I don't know if there's two of us that can't go into Kakariko. And he looks at Mara, thinks of Max.
that is a thing, yes.
And then the big guy is mad at Renji. And he pauses, doesn't say the next thing that goes on there. I don't know. I don't know if it would be comfortable or able for us unless we are all able to go into the village.
I see. I can understand that.
No, there's a lot of things with tradition and secrets and all the stuff that a lot of us are taught. Some remember it better than others. But and he just kind of gestures around the castle. Max and Mara are here, and there's secrets, and there's who knows what other types of hidden stuff, and all kinds of things here. And I don't know, if you don't know what you're looking for, just a village. That's it. I'm not saying, like, throw open the gates and let everyone in, but...
I can assure you if I had my way, I would allow people more access to Kakariko. I can understand in some capacity the need for secrecy, but in the same sense, such secrecy can be untrusting. I mean, it's not like we move the place around anywhere. It is, a very omnipresent sort of situation. And people are going to talk if they go to a place where they're going to get shot the moment they set foot on a set of stairs.
Yeah, so let's not get them shot. I mean, Zelish is over there, Nihilus is busy. You're a person we report to. Why can't you?
She kind of thinks about it. Says, go and get some sleep. Come back to me in the morning. I might have something that might help with that situation, but for now, get your rest.
Okay. Okay.
Renji's too tired to really respond to this. Like he's had an all-nighter basically.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any other questions or matters that you need to discuss with Impa before you retire for the night?
Nope.
Nothing Renji can pretty much remember.
Okay.
Are you handing in the report tonight or tomorrow on what we've done?
It's written down. You wrote it down.
It has been written down, so I will give that off to Impa and say if you need clarification, I'll be here in the morning at least.
Because, we need to tell the people what it is that we've brought into their castle.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. Okay. But yeah, you pass the report to Impa. She thanks you for it. And you guys go and get some much needed rest while Mara disappears into the library to begin some level of research. And with that, I think what we'll do is we'll call that for the day. Thank you very much everyone for watching / listening. This has been Articulate T with Zelda D&D Hyrule Chronicles Legend of Zelda D&D campaign episode 78. With me as always I have had Renji Vox being played by the Netherlad.
Thank you so much for visiting.
I have had Hikan Sio being played by Avrdal.
Fucked up my arm.
I have had Zayden Shari being played by RoboPirate.
You weren't using that arm, right?
I can't ambidextrous.
And I have had Max being played by Keistrith.
I'm gonna do a murder.
Oh no!
And
Yay!
we'll see you guys next time. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.